everybody, welcome back to this live session. I'm Auntie Z, also known as Teacher Monjo, coming to you live this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are on the planet with another African food and nutrition session. Continuing from the last video, we want to share with you, or I want to share with you today, the staples or breakfast staples that you should have if you're trying to reduce blood sugar levels, if you're trying to manage blood sugar, if you're trying to manage type 2 diabetes, and if your goal is to reverse the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes in your life. These foods are absolute must-haves in your pantry, in your kitchen. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite ones. Of course, there are so many more that I would like to share with you, but due to time and all of that, I'm going to be sharing with you these foods bit by bit. These foods have been helping me a lot to really keep my blood sugar in check, you know, to reduce the numbers, as I shared with you on the platform the other day. You guys have seen I started off with a blood sugar of, in 2011, of between 200 and 250 milligrams per deciliter. And I tried, tested new things, you know, tested new foods, looked at which foods have what kind of effect on my blood sugar all through the years. And as of 2017, I brought my blood sugar level down to between 170 to 180, which is still far too high. For those of you who have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you know that the normal blood sugar level for a healthy person should always be between 70 and 99 milligrams per deciliter fasting blood sugar. Okay, so if you get up in the morning after you ate last night, say at 8 p.m. and in the morning at 8 a.m. you're taking your blood sugar measurement and you have a blood sugar of more than 100, you know you are already in the pre-diabetic stage. When you're getting into 140, 150, 160, you are already having full-blown diabetes, which is really not good for your health. And I mentioned in the last video that I'm going to really take some time out and make a special video where we are going to talk all about type 2 diabetes, all about the different types of type 2 diabetes, what it is, how you get it, how to manage it, what kinds of foods you eat, and all of that. But for this video, I just want to give you a warm welcome. I forgot my bell today. Take position, everybody. Class don't start. This is going to be a quick one, a short one, hopefully. And I want you to invite your friends. I want you to share this video. I want you to tag your friends who might need this information today. Listen, this is not only information for those who are suffering from type 2 diabetes. It's also a video to help you prevent diabetes, to help you prevent other lifestyle diseases, other obesity and overweight related diseases as well. And also, if you want to lose weight, this video is also for you, because these are low glycemic index foods that I want to share with you that you can incorporate in your diet, which are going to help you, you know, to eat within a caloric deficit range and eventually to lose weight in the near future. So if you have any questions, make sure that you comment. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Share this video. Please share. You know, this is going to help me a lot, and it gives me a lot more motivation to really do the findings that I do, to do the research, to do the testing in the food laboratory, and come and share this information with you. So if I'm sharing information and you are not sharing to the masses, then it's not very helpful. So I want to thank all of you guys who continuously support by sharing. All right, I don't know if I'm clear. I don't know if you can see me. I don't know. I'm not seeing any comments so far, but I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. So one thing that we should understand, as I mentioned in the last video where I talked about the importance of choosing whole grain foods over refined foods, I talked about the fact that the source of your nutrients is of utmost importance. It is not only important to eat a wholesome meal. It is not only important to eat, you know, a variety of foods, but it is also of utmost importance to eat foods whose sources are, or who come from the right sources. So the right sources of your macros, when I'm talking about macros, I'm talking about macronutrients as well as your micronutrients. The right sources is of utmost importance. And you know, breakfast, they say, is the healthiest meal of the day. Well, that's the topic of another day. But if you are a breakfast person, I want to share with you the macros, the sources of my macros. I want to share with you the foods that you can consume whereby you're going to have the best, you know, low glycemic index foods. And glycemic index, what I mean by that, the glycemic index simply represents or the glycemic load represents how much or what is the effect that the food that you consume is going to have on your blood sugar. What is the effect of the food on blood sugar? So foods low on the glycemic index or low with a low glycemic load are those foods that are not going to, spike your blood sugar. They're not going to rise your blood sugar very fast, because as we know, the scientific literature has shown that when your blood sugar is constantly spiking and dropping and spiking and dropping, you are putting a lot of pressure on your pancreas to produce insulin to be able to, transport this glucose in the blood into the cells to be converted into energy or to be stored as fat, whatever the body needs at that time. So it is very important, especially if you have diabetes or type 2 diabetes specifically, to choose foods that are low on the glycemic index. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this camera upside down. Let's begin to talk about some of the foods that you need, and I hope that this is going to be clear. We are going to start from this end. So to begin your day, it is always very important, guys, to boost your metabolism with something light. And I like to always use apple cider vinegar. As you can see, this is going to be a reflection in the mirror for the camera. You not read it well, but this is apple cider vinegar that I always use in a glass or a teacup of warm water, and just drink 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after I wake up. So maximum 30 minutes after I wake up, I'll always have my glass of apple cider vinegar water. Or for those of you who do not have apple cider vinegar, you can always use lemons or limes. If you have a gastric problem and you can't do lemon, you can't do lime, you can do lemon, because lemon is a little bit milder than lime in acidity. Okay, so this is a very important step. And also, you can always have your tea. Yeah, I have lemongrass and ginger tea. Generally, I'm going to always use the fresh lemongrass, what we know as fever grass. So right now, I don't have fresh lemongrass. That is why I'm showing you this packet. But if I did, I would have shown you the lemongrass and ginger, fresh ginger, just grated and boiled, put it in boiling water and left to stand for a while. Also, you can have any kind of tea that you like, so long as it is not a slimming tea. We've talked about slimming teas before, the dangers of consuming slimming teas. These are not slimming teas. These are just normal herbal teas that you can drink in the case where you don't have the fresh lemongrass and the ginger, fresh lemon ginger. Okay, so what that's going to do for you guys is that the tea, the water, obviously you need water in the morning. It is just the same like when you get up in the morning and you want to go out to work or you want to go and do something. What is the first thing that you're going to do? You're going to refresh your body by taking a bath, right? You take a bath, you take a shower, you want to cleanse your outermost body. It is absolutely important that when you get up in the morning, you have been fasting the whole night as you have been sleeping. So now you've gotten, or what you want to do is you want to refuel. Do you understand? So you are going to refuel, not with water. If you have just empty water is going to do the trick as well. But when you augment it with apple cider vinegar, which has so many metabolic boosting properties, or lemon or lime, then you are going to do yourself a lot more good. If you have fever grass, add it in there. It's going to, fever grass has so many other antioxidant properties which are very, very good for your health. So you want to start there. Then the next step is always looking at what is the next thing you're going to eat. Generally, we advise that your breakfast meal, like all other meals, should be wholesome, should be made up of all the macronutrients that that is carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The thing is, most of the time, we get our carbohydrates and our protein, our fat sources from sources that don't really do much for our body. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the sources of our macros instead do more harm than they do good. That is the reason why if you see somebody eating, for example, baguette, the French baguette or the kumba bread or the agege bread, which is a carbohydrate per se, then the person is going to add to it, let me say, assorted meat, sandwich that bread with assorted meat, which for them, the meat is the protein, and then maybe the oil that they use in cooking the peppered meat is their oil. Yes, that can make a meal for someone. The problem with those who are already suffering, who are pre-diabetic, who are obese, who are overweight, is that those kind of foods are going to provide you with a low quality macronutrients. What we are aiming at is to have high quality macronutrients. What I'm trying to say is that you are looking for foods that are nutrient dense, okay, nutrient dense, which means that they have a high nutrient density with low calorie density. So you are looking for a nutrient dense food, but a calorie sparse food that you can balance out. So the problem, what we do most of the time, is that we eat nutrient sparse foods. That is, we eat foods, a lot of food or a large quantity with large calories, of foods that are low in nutrients. Do you understand? And so that what that is going to do is that it's going to actually push you towards a calorie overload and a nutrient deficiency. Do you understand? So we want to get our nutrients, our macros, from high quality sources, and that is what I want to show you now. And this video is especially for those who are pre-diabetic or diabetic. Those who are not pre-diabetic or diabetic can have their carbohydrates, for example, and I'm going to give you some examples from other sources like whole grain bread and all of that. The problem with us diabetic patients is that you can no longer be eating whole grain. You can eat whole grain bread, but the problem is you are going to have to eat a very small quantity in order for your blood sugar not to spike very much. Do you understand? So our choices are really limited to some certain types of food until you are able to reverse your type 2 diabetes. So you have to start by making favorable choices for your blood sugar until you have reduced your blood sugar to a point where your cells have healed. They are able to absorb the glucose. Insulin is working better, and at that point you can now begin to add some other, higher caloric foods, higher caloric sources of carbohydrates or proteins or fats. Okay, that being said, I want to go ahead and show you one of the most frequent carbohydrates that I eat. For those of you guys who consume, oats for breakfast with milk and stuff like this, I want to go ahead and show you these oats. Okay. Oh, what is happening? Okay, I want to go ahead and show you these oats. These are soya bean oats, and this is the packet. These are soya bean flakes. Sorry. Soya bean flakes. Most of us eat Quaker oats for breakfast. Those are simple carbohydrates. Do you understand? Those are Quaker oats, and all other sugar, artificially sweetened oats are high carbohydrate, high sugar, refined oats that are going to spike your blood sugar. And if you are a pre-diabetic or diabetic patient, you are in trouble with those kind of foods. So the reason why I am proposing soya bean flakes, these are soya bean flakes just like oats, it is because soya beans are low in carbohydrates. And if I showed you here, you are going to see that the carbohydrates per 100 gram is just 3.1 grams of carbohydrate. It is a very low carbohydrate food, okay? It is a low carbohydrate food which any person, diabetic patient, should be consuming if you are the kind of person that loves your oats in the morning with milk and stuff like that. So soya bean flakes are very, very good. It's a good substitute for the normal Quaker oats, for the normal oatmeal, even the rolled oats, which are really healthy. They are good, but they are higher in carbohydrates, way higher in carbohydrates than this, and they are not really suitable for somebody who is struggling to still manage diabetes and who wants to reverse the diagnosis. So you're going to have the soya bean oats there that you can use. You can make fufu with it. Some of us eat our okra soup with fufu. When you are type 2 diabetes, you can no longer eat any kind of fufu. You can no longer eat any kind of flour. Do you understand? So this can be ground into a powder and used to make fufu. Okay? You can also use it. I'm just giving you some examples how you can use this. You can also use it to make your fufu, to eat your eru, to eat your okra soup, to eat all of those, soup swallows that we all know in Africa. Very, very important. Now, I have that, and then I have my coconut flakes right here. These are coconut flakes, dry coconut flakes, unsweetened, that I have, I've browned in the oven just to make it crispy for my oats. So this is a very good source also of carbohydrates, but carbohydrates that are not going to spike your blood sugar. Guess what? Because coconuts also have carbohydrates. That's what some people don't know. We feel that coconut is just fat. Coconut has some carbohydrates, but it's just like 7 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams of coconut chips that are right here. So I'm going to show you how I mix all of that to make my oatmeal that I can consume if I'm having breakfast on the days that I'm having breakfast. And we're going to talk about coconut flakes a little bit more in combination with other foods. So you can have coconut flakes. I wanted to show you the packet. This is the normal packet. As you can see here, this is the dried ones, coconut chips, sorry. And what I do with it, I just pop it in the oven and brown it a little bit and then mix it to make my, cereals. Okay, so you can see 7.2 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams. When I'm talking about low carbohydrates, the general recommendation for a serving size of carbohydrates is 15 grams of carbohydrates per serving. So if you are a normal human being, if you are to consume a food with a serving size of carbohydrates you should make sure that that food has 15 grams of carbohydrates. So any food that has 15 grams of carbohydrates is a serving of carbohydrate, which is just the normal. So if you want to take it low a little bit, you want to look at foods that have like between 5 to 7 grams of carbohydrates for those of us who are pre-diabetic, diabetic, because at the end of the day, we mix and match all of these foods, and before you know it, your carbohydrate intake or number of grams of carbohydrate that you are taking per that meal really increases. It goes beyond the 15 grams, and you don't want that, okay? So I have my flakes here, and I'm just going to go ahead and bend this down again so that we can see more of the foods that we are talking about. Also, these are the carbohydrates, and in fact, as a matter of fact, all of these foods have some carbohydrates, they have some proteins, they have some fats. That is the reason why I can't tell you that this particular food is just a carbohydrate and this particular food is just a fat. It's a mixture of all the goodness that you can have. That is why it is so important. These foods are healthy, they are wholesome, and they are a variety. They pack a punch of nutrition just in one food itself. So I want to go ahead and show you some of the nuts, like cashew nuts that you can consume, have good fats, have good carbohydrates as well. Carbohydrates here is how many? 7 grams of carbohydrates, of net carbohydrates in this, because it has a lot of fiber. Also, what I really love to have in my pantry as a staple for my breakfast are nuts and nut butters. So I've just mentioned to you cashew nuts here. You have almonds as well, and then you have the nut butters. This is cashew nut butter, 100% cashew nut butter, nothing else added to it, just cashew nut butter. And maybe I can open it for you to see. This is the cashew nut oil, normal cashew nut oil. When you blend the cashew nut, the oil comes out from it. It's not added oil. So this is also a very healthy fat that I usually use for smoothies, and I do it not only for myself but also for the children as well. So these are really, really good. They are packed with proteins. You have our normal peanut paste right here, which is also a very healthy fat, a healthy source of low glycemic index carbohydrates. This is just peanut, ground blended peanuts like this, no added oil, nothing, 100%. And you should always make sure that you are doing 100% of these nut butters. You can make your nut butters at home, and I'm going to show you videos of how to make that as well. This is still granite butter with granite, small granite grains in it. Okay, so I have all of this, which are very good. Another source of healthy fats, guys, avocados. And you are going to notice that most of the things that I have on the table here are from vegetable sources, because these are the higher quality nutrients, vegetable sources. And vegetable sources also because they do not promote inflammation. In my last video, I talked about inflammation. Continuing with the fat, I have here coconut butter, which we use as a spread for the children's whole grain bread when I'm sending them to school. Do you understand? So this is coconut spread. It's not butter. This is just coconut spread with water, made from water, shea butter, exactly, shea butter, coconut butter, water, and carrot juice, okay, and coconut oil, which is really very good. It's just like butter. Of course, it doesn't really taste like butter, but it's really the healthier version. Not to say that you cannot consume butter. You can consume butter, but I'm advising to get your nutrients from plant sources more than you get them from animal sources. I do have butter somewhere in the fridge there. Another source is the coconut oil, which is really great. Do you understand all of the benefits? We know the benefits of coconut oil. We have heard that fat burns fat, especially if you are taking in low glycemic index foods. Then you can eat fats to help you burn more fat. As I was saying, I have the normal butter here. This is it, which we use from time to time, but we don't use it all the time. So those are the main sources of fats that I wanted to share with you. Now let us go over and let me talk to you a little bit about the proteins, the sources of proteins. Some people think that when you're doing low glycemic index foods, you should eat a lot of protein. Let me tell you, the key is not eating a lot of proteins, because at the end of the day, proteins are also metabolized at some point, you know, in the body, and they are not so helpful if you eat just too much of them. One, you have a caloric overload as well. Two, it is not really great. Those people doing the keto diet, most of the time they eat a lot of meat and all of that. You can always do a keto diet on vegetables and other sources, pulses and peas, and you know, non-starchy carbohydrates as well. So I want to walk you through the protein sources, the main protein sources. Of course, I have mentioned before that even the nut butters, the nuts have proteins, healthy proteins, healthy proteins. But also, well, the main sources of proteins that I consume, you have tofu. This is soya bean. I don't know, in Nigeria they call it wara, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. If you know the name, please let me know. So this is tofu. Here we call it tofu, but this is a product of soya beans, and we have already seen that soya beans are a high protein food, low in carbohydrates. They are low on the glycemic index. These are foods that if you consume and you take your before blood sugar and your after blood sugar, you are hardly going to see any difference in the blood sugar. As a matter of fact, with consumption of these foods over time, your blood sugar is going to begin to reduce and to normalize. Do you understand? Because what is happening is that glycogen is being burned or converted and burnt as fat, and so the fat in the cells are reducing and permitting the cells to be able to be more receptive to, you know, to glucose, and to permit also insulin to be able to do its work properly. So when you eat low glycemic index foods, that's what is going to happen, and that's why your blood sugar is going to reduce over time. The key is eating more of vegetables, more vegetables, a little bit more fruits, and the kind of fruits also is important. And then you have the non-starchy carbohydrates that you should consume, and then the proteins. Okay, so one of the sources of my proteins is tofu. What I do with tofu most of the time is I do tofu fried eggs in the morning. So I actually use tofu to scramble it like eggs. So I mash it up and scramble it like eggs, and I can eat that with cucumber or with any vegetable, non-starchy vegetable that I like. Okay, so another great source of protein is almond milk. Jemima, almond milk. So this is the milk of almond, just almond, nothing else, almond and water. Very, very important. Do you know? Give me the other bottle of milk that is in the fridge there. Let me show you. So this is almond milk, which is a great protein source, you know, and it is very, very low. Thank you. It is very, very low in carbohydrates. In fact, it doesn't even have carbohydrates. So it's very good for the muesli or the cereals, you know, the soya bean cereals. This is a good combination because you know that you are not adding up on carbohydrates. Another one I wanted to show you is the coconut milk. So you have the almond and the coconut milk, which is also a low source of carbohydrates and a high source of protein, okay, as sources of protein. Again, the nuts and the nut butters are also very healthy sources of protein. Another great source of protein is Greek yogurt. This is an animal-based product that I consume from time to time, just because sometimes when I'm doing my smoothies, I want to thicken it up, and I use Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt, excuse me, is loaded with very, very, very healthy or good gut bacteria, which is good for your gut flora. Okay, so you know that your gut is made up of bacteria. As a matter of fact, 90% of our bodies, we are made up of bacteria. So in the body, in the belly, you have good gut bacteria and bad gut bacteria. So when you eat products like this, like yogurt, that have good, or that have that promote the growth of good gut bacteria, what that does in the body is that it goes and kills, you know, the bad gut bacteria that cause a lot of issues, digestive issues in our body. And so it is a very, very good breakfast addition. Okay, what have I, oh yeah, yes, the next thing I want to mention are eggs. Also an animal source. I have kids, we eat eggs once in a week maximum. So we have our eggs here, which we, you know, fry, sometimes boil, or boil and add it to salads and stuff like that. So I just want to show you some of those. Now coming up to where we get our minerals and our vitamins and fiber from, very, very, very important. The statistics from the World Health Organization shows that more than half of women and men do not get the recommended daily allowance for fiber, which is a pity. Do not get the recommended daily allowance for some other vitamins and minerals like potassium, like magnesium. Magnesium and potassium, two minerals that are essential for weight loss. If you are not taking enough magnesium and potassium, then you are going to be wondering why you are not losing weight. It is because of a magnesium potassium deficiency. Those two minerals have a great role to play in our metabolism that help the metabolism of other nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So it's very important amongst other functions that they have. So I want to show you some of the sources of fiber especially, and of these other micronutrients, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this down a little bit more. So you are going to see here a whole lot of packages. Do you understand? So first ones, I want to show you the ones that you can easily get even in Africa. You know moringa. I'm sure that you have heard about moringa. It's a superfood that is loaded with fiber, it's loaded with magnesium, with potassium. As a matter of fact, if you look here, you are going to see that just a dessert teaspoon, that is 5 grams of moringa added to your smoothie, for example, is going to give you 142% of your daily amount of magnesium. It's going to give you 90% of your daily amount of potassium, 235% of your daily amount requirement of iron, 200 and something of calcium, 500 and something percent of the daily recommendation for vitamin E, and 250% of the daily requirement for vitamin A. So just this moringa is a powerful nutrient of food to add in your smoothies, in your yogurts. And I'm going to show you a smoothie I'm going to make after this video with these products to show you how I fortify my smoothies and everything for myself and for the children. And we know the benefits of moringa. It's a powerful antioxidant. It helps to reduce high blood pressure. It helps to reduce cholesterol. In fact, this one is another video for another day. So moringa is extremely important to have in your diet, and it's also a high fiber food. Did I mention that it has 27 grams of fiber in 100 grams of the product? This is high fiber, and we know what fiber does in the body. I keep singing that song daily on this platform. The next one I want to show you is baobab. These are plants or food that we have in Africa. You know, this is baobab powder. Maybe I should open it for those of you who want to see what it looks like on the inside. Sorry. Oh. So this is what it looks like. The ground baobab powder is also a high fiber food. This is what the baobab plant looks like right here. Please share this video. Invite your friends. Let them come and let us learn together. You know, it is high fiber, it is high iron, high potassium, high vitamin C. Do you understand? Fiber in this one is 50 grams per 100 grams. That means that half of the moringa, the baobab plant is fiber. So you shouldn't look further. If you are lacking fiber, you're having problems with digestion, you know where to go and find your solution. Moringa, baobab is the solution. Now, for other foods that you might not have in Cameroon. Let me see what I want to show you. Okay, you also have wheatgrass, some of which is rare. Wheatgrass is rare in Cameroon. I don't know if you have it there somewhere, but it's coming up because we are planning our Shape Up African health promotion and weight loss center in Cameroon, coming up by the grace of God next year, where you can have all of these products you know, to buy. So this is wheatgrass, and wheatgrass, we were just doing some presentations last week in class, and our what's the name? You know, I speak a lot of German, so this English palaver na wahala for me. Our nutrition concept professor was talking a lot about superfoods last week, and we talked about wheatgrass. In fact, meta-analysis, if you know what meta-analysis are, peer-reviewed articles which have dealt with the health benefits, which have dealt with the health benefits of wheatgrass and all of some of these other products I've mentioned to you, particularly wheatgrass. It has a lot of health benefits. That's the reason why it is so expensive. This thing is going to lower high blood pressure. It's going to lower cholesterol. It is going to prevent the risk of cardiac disease. It is going to, in fact, it is just too long. I need to do a separate video for each one of these products. Extremely healthy and also expensive, but really, really worth it. And well, the good thing about it is that when you buy it, you don't need to, you know, pour the whole thing inside a glass and drink. You just use teaspoon sizes, okay? I don't know if I open this, whether you see it. Well, you can see it here that it is a green, powder. Very, very good for our health. So all of these things, by the grace of God, next year we are going to be able to have those in the Super Health Promotion and Weight Loss Center in Cameroon. Okay, and then you have here a mixture of different products that I want to just share with you really quickly. Flozamen Schale. What's it again in English? This is what you use to make fufu, to make vegetable fufu. That powder that you use to make vegetable fufu. I've forgotten the name in English. Bear with me. If I remember, I'm going to tell you. So this is what it looks like. Can you see? Okay, it's not so clear actually. Anyways, if I remember the name, I'm going to tell you. So here we have also a mixture of, you know, coconut chips. You have a mixture of chia seeds, you know, and that's it. This one to add to smoothies. They also have fiber. They have proteins, 26 grams of proteins per 100 grams. They have some fats, like 19 grams of fat. It's really, really, really good. Coconut flour is also a good one to have in the house. For those of you who love sweet things in the morning, like pancake, coconut flour is the alternative to, you know, whole wheat flour, which is lower in carbohydrates, high in fiber and all of that. So if you are making, like, say, for example, a banana pancake, go for coconut flour, or even almond flour. You can use those to make your pancake. You can make, what else can you make? Well, I just have in mind pancake at the moment because I usually do that, especially for the children. Okay, last but certainly not least, some of the other staples that I have in the house. Psyllium husk, thank you, yes. This is psyllium husk, exactly. Psyllium husk we use to make vegetable fufu, but actually it's a high fiber food. It has 82 grams of fiber per 100 gram of the product. So it is extremely high in fiber. When you use this product in your smoothies, for example, it gives you a feeling of satisfaction. It makes you really full, because what psyllium does is that it goes and binds with water and then it expands. So it fills up the space in your stomach and you don't feel hungry. So it is a very good trick if you're trying to curb your appetite a little bit. It is always good to add psyllium husk to your smoothie or to your milk or to your yogurt, okay? It is very advisable not to overdo it, because if you overdo it, it's not so good for your health. This thing can really expand, and if you are not drinking enough water, you can have digestion problems. But it is actually very good. Last but certainly not least, I want to show you the fruits and the vegetables that you should definitely have in your kitchen when you're trying to manage or reverse type 2 diabetes. Technically, avocado is a fruit, so you should always have it. But the fruits that you can have, and I made a video talking about low glycemic index African foods that you can consume. I made a video about that. You can check it on my YouTube channel, Shape Up African TV. I made a video showing you all, I think, 10 different low glycemic index fruits that you can eat. So berries, of course, not all berries, but strawberries, blueberries, you know, are really safe to consume because they are on the low glycemic index end. You know, they are low in carbohydrates, they are good, they are sweet. You can eat a larger quantity for a lower amount of carbohydrates, which is not going to spike your blood sugar. These are good for smoothies, you know, for your drinks. They are good as snacks. You can get a handful of these when you're hungry in between and stuff like that. Definitely all dark leafy vegetables are extremely good. They are low carbohydrate vegetables, low carbohydrate foods. Spinach, ugu, bitter leaf, all of those are extremely good for breakfast, for your breakfast meals, like in smoothies and all of that, making salads and stuff like that, using romaine salad, using normal lettuce. Advised to use romaine because it has many more nutrients. Lettuce is typically just 99% water. It doesn't really have nutrients. So you want to use romaine salad, or better still, you're using spinach, you're using ugu, or a mixture of all of them. So you can mix romaine with lettuce, with spinach, with a little bit of ugu leaves, 1 or 2 bitter leaves to add in those antioxidants there. Very, very good for your health. Definitely some other low carbohydrate vegetables I use: broccoli, green beans, carrots. These are low in carbohydrates. I use this most of the time to make my vegetable fried eggs or vegetable fried tofu, you know, soya beans, this one, and I eat them with cucumbers. Not to forget about our green and red bell peppers right here, onions. In fact, the list is long. I can't show you everything for now. Now, last but definitely not least, I'm sure that many of you are asking me, oh, so does it mean that I'm not going to be able to consume anything like sugar? What am I going to use to sweeten my tea? I want to advise you that when you are in the process of trying to manage or reverse, especially reverse type 2 diabetes, you will have to give up on some things for a start. Because if you don't, I tried not to give up on anything, and it has taken me so long because I've been trying to say, okay, if I do my sugar, my tea with sugar, what is the effect on my blood sugar? I quickly realized that blood sugar is still going to rise. If I did my tea with, or I did my muesli or my cereal with honey, what is the effect? I realized that my blood sugar was going to rise. And time is passing and you are not, you know, managing or reversing the thing. Your organs are being, you know, put a lot under pressure. So if you really want to manage and reverse type 2 diabetes, there are some things you have to give up. For example, completely giving up white flour, completely giving up refined foods like white flour, you know, white spaghetti and stuff like that. Those things are going to spike your blood sugar. They will not do a lot of good. But then again, there is some things, there are some sugars, some sweeteners that you can use. You can use they call it Xylit, Xylit in German. So some kind of sugars that studies have shown that they don't have an effect on blood sugar. You know, I don't have one now because I'm doing a 24-hour fast, so I've completely put off all of the sugars. But the sugar that I have, especially for the children, because I have young children who are not diabetic, who have no health issues, I'm using, the favorite one is coconut blossom sugar, coconut blossom syrup. This one is like honey. First of all, let me show you the coconut blossom sugar itself. So this is coconut blossom sugar, and if I open it, this is not brown sugar. This is coconut blossom sugar, which is gotten from the coconut tree. Okay, this is sugar gotten from the coconut tree. I don't know why this thing is not clear. I have no clue why it doesn't want to be clear. Sorry guys, it's not clearing up. I don't know why. Anyways, this is what it looks like on the inside. This is coconut blossom sugar. Yes, coconut blossom sugar. And this is the syrup of coconut blossom sugar. So what you are going to realize, or what you should know, is that coconut blossom sugar is the sugar from the coconut plant. Of course, it is sweet, and the label is telling you that it has a lot of carbohydrates. But many studies have They have carried out so many studies to find out the effect of this sugar and this syrup on blood sugar, and they have realized that when you consume coconut blossom sugar or coconut blossom syrup, the effect on your blood sugar is slower than the effect that white sugar or honey would have if you had consumed those. So this sugar raises your blood sugar slowly, progressively than normal white sugar. And the advantage of rising blood sugar progressively is that it doesn't get to a spike, it doesn't get to an ultimate high whereby the pancreas are so overworked and insulin is just there in the body, in the blood, doing nothing, and sugar is just lingering in the body, do you understand? So as I said, we are going to talk about type 2 diabetes and how all of those processes work. When you understand how type 2 diabetes works, then you are going to understand why you should choose the foods that I'm mentioning here and why you can have a quantity of this coconut blossom sugar or coconut blossom syrup. There is another syrup that I'm going to show you. Unfortunately, I've searched in the shops I used to buy it for. I couldn't find it. That particular one, that syrup has just 5 grams of carbohydrate. It was my favorite, but up to now I've not found it, so I had to order it specially. And when it's going to come, I'm going to show you. I'm going to make a separate video on that. But just bear in mind that you can use Zealot, and you can also use a little quantity, say a teaspoon a day of coconut blossom syrup or coconut blossom sugar. Okay, so guys, I don't know if you have any other questions. This is what I wanted to share with you today. Just to take home, the take-home message is that it is very, very important, the sources of your macros, the sources of your carbohydrate, the source of your proteins, and the source of your fats, especially when you are dealing with type 2 diabetes, when you're trying to reverse type 2 diabetes. You want to make sure that where you're getting these macros from are not high glycemic index foods. Okay, very, 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 very important. I cannot stress it enough. If you are continuously consuming high glycemic index foods, it's not going to be favorable for you. So you want to choose low glycemic index foods. If you are having difficulties and you don't know where to start, which foods to choose, what portion to eat, you can contact me. This is my job. And I'm going to create a plan for you for a fee, of course, because this is my job. I'm going to consult with you and I'm going to create a plan with you. I'm going to follow you up. You can write a message to me just by using the message button below, or you can write to shapeofafrican@gmail.com. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned because I'm going to come live right after this to show you one of my favorite smoothies that I love and the children love as well, using some low glycemic index everyday foods that you have in your home. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Make sure you share this video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah!